Creating clean line art is great, but what if you want to have a bit more of a sketchy look or more of a traditional look in your work? Well, the two options that you have available to you are one, using a textured brush digitally, or two, being a little bit more rough, but in a controlled way. So in front of us, we have Clip Studio Paint here, and I've chosen the textured pen brush. And if we compare that, for example, to the gel pen brush here, or the turn-up brush, you can see that the textured pen brush is a little bit more rough on its edges. Let's just zoom in a little bit there to see that. And so what we could do is we could still follow the exact same principles of creating clean line art or creating good line art that we saw in the first lesson, but we're just going to use a more textured brush. And of course, these brush packs, this comes with Clip Studio, but however, for Photoshop, you can find thousands of brush packs available online for free with all sorts of textures for all kinds of pencils, every pencil you've ever imagined probably. And you could just carry on in that same way. But let's take a look at a different approach if you don't want to use textured brushes. Moving to Photoshop here. One strategy I found when you want to get a bit more of a traditional look is to use a very thin brush, but instead of doing single strokes for every line, you kind of sketch it a little bit more. So in this instance, I'll double line that, and I'll come down here and sketch that. But I'm taking care to still kind of stay loose and on the same track, but I'm actually drawing additional lines in where I need them. Not too many, I don't want it to look too crazy, but I'm taking a little bit easier in a sense on myself in terms of getting those clean lines. And now because I'm using a thinner brush, you don't notice the flaws overtly. You're not seeing these crazy lines and thinking, well, I don't think people generally will look at your work and go, wow, look how untidy it is, even though you are, he or she should say, even though you are putting in these additional lines. But it has quite an interesting effect to double the lines and be a little bit more sketchy, but you're actually doing clean, sketchy lines in a sense, right? And that can give your work a nice traditional look as well. You can see how appealing that looks as well if that's the kind of look you're going for. Perhaps you're not intending to do some crazy level of super painting or something on top of it. We need perfect lines. Then you can just sketch in these lines, keeping those same shapes, being loose, but you can see how easy it is to achieve that effect. The key here being thin lines. You need to use thinner lines to do this because you're going to be doubling the lines up. And really, that is all there is to creating slightly rougher line art. And that's it. I'll see you in the next lesson.